It's Karolyn, and I have the great pleasure of sharing the new Leaping Slider channel dynamics with you. This set of channel dies will give you oodles of options for slider cards, and they pair perfectly with the new Over the Moon for You stamp set and coordinating dies. I'll be showing you how to make that adorable little sheep leap over the moon, and how I hit the channel that the sheep is attached to. I started off with a piece of Ranger Distress watercolor cardstock, and I die cut some clouds from smooth white cardstock using the Stitched Cloud Edges Dynamics. I'm going to ink blend a night sky, so I'm marking the height of the clouds with a pencil so that I know how far to blend. And then I die cut a circle mask from some low tack masking material, and I'm adhering that above the clouds and burnishing it into the watercolor paper with my bone folder. This will ensure that the edges don't lift while I'm ink blending. I'm starting off by lightly blending some Faded Jeans Distress ink towards the top of the panel to the bottom portion of the circle mask. And I've sped up the camera for this portion, as I'm sure you've all seen me ink blend a million times before. There's no magic in what I do here, but I really love how an ink blended background looks. Next, I'll lay a light blend of Chipped Sapphire Distress ink around the outside edges of the previously inked area to give some added depth to the sky, as well as create a slight halo around the moon. And finally, I'll create an earthly glow towards the bottom of the moon by laying down a light blend of Peacock Feathers Distress ink. I'll blend that up into the Faded Jeans area to give a smooth transition between the two. Off camera, I lightly spritzed the panel with some water and blotted it with a paper towel. And then I carefully removed that mask with my tweezers. I'll die cut the outside edge of the panel using the largest die from the A2 Stitched Rectangle STAX Set 2 Dynamics. I wasn't totally sure how I was going to lay things out on my project, so I'm placing my chosen sentiment from the Over the Moon for You stamp set onto the clouds, and I'm doing the same thing with one of the sheep from the same set. This will help me get an idea of where I want to place my Leaping Slider channel die. And I really wanted to figure out a way to hide that channel so that the sheep really looks like he's leaping over the moon. So I'm using my Smart Grid pad to mark the line where I want to place my die, and I set everything aside so that I can secure the die onto the image panel with a couple pieces of washi tape. And then I'll die cut the channel off camera. Next, I'm stamping two of the sheep from the Over the Moon for You stamp set because I'm not 100% sure which one I want to use on my project. I'm using black licorice hybrid ink because I'll color the images with my Copic markers off camera. While I have my MISTI out, I decided to stamp the I'm Over the Moon for You sentiment onto the bottom left portion of the clouds, again using black licorice hybrid ink. And then I'll die cut the sheep with the coordinating Over the Moon for You dynamics off camera. And now I can start assembling my card. I'm adhering the two banks of clouds together using thin 3D foam squares to cut down on the bulk. Next, I'm adhering some 1/4-inch double-sided tape to both sides of a slider element. You could also use one of the spin and slide discs for this, but I thought the shape of the slider element would work better for what I had in mind. I flipped the image panel over and I'm placing the slider element inside that track that I created with the Leaping Slider channel dynamics. I'll remove the release paper from the double-sided tape with my tweezers, and then I'll adhere a penny onto the disc. This will add some weight to my slider that I'll need to propel the sheep from side to side. You'll understand better as we move along in the video. Now I'm removing the release paper from the double-sided tape from the other side of the disc, and I'm adhering a 3-inch by 3 1/4-inch piece of acetate to the disc. I'm going to use this as sort of a stilt for my sheep to lift him out of the clouds, and the clouds will hide the slider channel. I'm adhering the clouds to the image panel with foam squares, making sure to place them on the sides and bottoms of the clouds only. This will give the slider mechanism plenty of room to slide back and forth without obstruction. I'm adhering the sheep to the piece of acetate with 2 layers of foam squares to make sure that his little legs won't get caught up in the clouds. And then I'll trim off the excess acetate with my scissors. And if I've done everything right, the sheep should slide from side to side without too much effort as I tilt the card. I guess we'll see when we finish assembling the card. I'm scoring an A2 top folding smooth white card base at 5½ inches, and I'll fold it in half and perfect the crease with my Teflon bone folder. Now I'm adhering the assembled image panel to the card base with 2 layers of foam squares to give the slider mechanism plenty of room to operate. And as I tested it out, I was frustrated with how the slider mechanism wasn't sliding as effortlessly as I had hoped. I originally adhered the clouds to the image panel with 1 layer of foam squares, and I decided that wasn't enough after all. So I removed the clouds, added another layer of foam squares, and re-adhered them to the card base. Problem solved! I thought my card needed some finishing touches, so I die cut some little hearts from some red hot cardstock using the heart dies from the Tag Builder Blueprints 5 Die-namics. I trimmed a tiny piece of acetate, added some double-sided tape to the bottom of the acetate, and I'm adhering one of the hearts to it with a bit of foam square. Then I'll adhere the strip to the back of the sheep's head so that it looks like the heart is floating above his head. And then I'll adhere 3 more hearts in a triangle cluster near the end of the sentiment, 2 of them with foam squares and 1 with liquid adhesive. A finished project is truly made with the little details that you add at the end. I love the idea of the floating heart above the sheep's head, and the hearts near the sentiment tie it all together. Lastly, I'll coat all of the hearts with some clear wick of Stella and a layer of diamond glazed liquid adhesive to really make them pop and shine. Remember those little details, people! And now I'm ready to test this baby out. Oh my gosh, I'm over the moon in love with how this turned out, and I can't wait to give the rest of the Leaping Slider Channel Dynamics a try. The wheels in my brain are a-churnin'. I hope you enjoyed watching my video today and that you'll be trying the new Leaping Slider Channel Dynamics out for yourself. Be sure to check out the other December release countdown videos on the MFT YouTube channel, and until next time, have a great day!